They told you the crisis was averted. They told you the soft landing was here. They lied. There is a rhythm to economic history, a heartbeat that most people never hear until it stops. It doesn't happen randomly. It happens when the stars align in a very specific, catastrophic formation. We saw this formation in 1929. We saw it in 2008. And right now, in 2025, we are staring at it again. But this time, the scale is different. The debt is higher. The leverage is deeper. The trap is already closed. Most people think a crash means money disappears. That is a myth. Money never disappears. It simply moves. It transfers from the hands of the unprepared middle class into the pockets of the prepared elite. We are approaching the greatest wealth transfer in human history. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you the script for a crash that hasn't happened yet, but is already inevitable. I will walk you through the 5 phases of the collapse, expose the specific trigger that will start the dominoes falling, and tell you exactly who gets destroyed and who creates a dynasty. This isn't doom-mongering. This is history whispering the future. Welcome to the end of the cycle. To understand the fall, we must understand the rise. Every financial tragedy begins with the same seductive character, the everything bubble. Let's go back to the origins. The seeds of the 2026 crash were not planted this year. They were planted in 2009. For 15 years, the Federal Reserve taught the world a dangerous lesson. Risk does not exist. Whenever the markets stumbled, they printed money. Q1, QE2, the COVID stimulus. Trillions of dollars flooded the system, acting like morphine for a sick patient. This created a distortion in reality. In 1929, before the Great Depression, stock valuations detached from earnings. In 2006, before the Great Recession, housing prices detached from incomes. But today everything has detached. Look at the data. Historically, a house costs 3 times the average yearly income. Today in America, it costs nearly 6 times. Stock market is priced for perfection in an imperfect world. Corporate debt, record highs. Government debt, $36 trillion. The system is leveraged to the hilt. Everyone is expensive. Everyone is in debt. And everyone is betting that the music will never stop playing. But here's the twist. The music has stopped. The sound just hasn't reached the back of the room yet. Why now? Why 2026? Because of the breaking point. For a decade, interest rates were at 0. Free money allowed zombie companies to survive and bad investments to look like genius moves. But in 2022, inflation forced the Fed's hand. They raised rates from 0 to 5.5% in 18 months. This was the fastest hike in 40 years. And here is the secret that economists whisper about, the lag effect. When you raise rates, nothing happens immediately. It takes about 18 to 24 months for the poison to reach the heart of the economy. We are entering that window right now. Think about it. A commercial building purchased with a loan at 3% interest is a gold mine. That same building with a loan at 8% interest is a bankruptcy. Trillions of dollars in corporate debt and commercial mortgages are coming due now. They must refinance at these killer rates. The math simply does not work. The Federal Reserve is trapped. If they keep rates high, they crush the economy. If they lower rates, inflation explodes again. They have used all their ammunition fighting the last war. They have nothing left for this one. So, how does the collapse begin? It doesn't start with a bang. It starts with a crack. The trigger for the 2026 crash is hiding in plain sight. Commercial real estate. Walk through any major city. Look up. The office towers are empty. Remote work didn't just change our habits. It destroyed the foundation of asset valuations. Vacancy rates are at 40 to 50% in some areas. These buildings are worth less than the loans used to buy them. And who holds these toxic loans? Not the giant banks like JP Morgan? No, it is the regional banks. The small, community lenders. They hold nearly 40% of their assets in commercial real estate. When the developers default, and they are defaulting right now, these banks become insolvent. We saw the prequel in 2023 with Silicon Valley Bank. That was just a tremor. The earthquake is coming. Once a few regional banks fail, panic spreads. Money flees. Credit freezes. And when credit freezes, the cascade begins. Pay close attention. This is the roadmap. Based on the patterns of 1929 and 2008, the crash will unfold in 5 distinct phases. If you know them, you survive. If you don't, you become a statistic. Phase 1. The shock. Late 2025 or early 2026. A major event happens. Maybe a big bank fails, or a geopolitical crisis spikes oil prices. The market drops 10% to 15% in a week. The media will scream, but the smart money will stay calm. Phase 2. The false recovery. This is the most dangerous phase. This is the trap. The Fed will issue a statement ensuring the system is strong. The government might announce a rescue package. Markets will stabilize. They might even rally, your neighbor will tell you. See? I told you to buy the dip. You will feel foolish for worrying. You will be tempted to jump back in. Do not do it. In 1929, after the initial drop, the market rallied for months. Right before it fell, another 80%. Phase 3. The cascade. Summer to late 2026. The reality sets in. The corporate bankruptcies can no longer be hidden. The layoffs begin. This is when the forced selling starts. Margin calls. When you borrow money to buy stocks, and stocks fall, the broker sells your position automatically. This drives prices down further, which triggers more selling. It is a feedback loop from hell. Algorithms take over. Liquidity evaporates. There are no buyers, only sellers. The market goes vertical. Down. Phase 4. The panic bottom. 2027. This is the moment of maximum fear. Unemployment hits 10%. The news is talking about the end of capitalism. People, maybe even you, will vow never to touch a stock again. They will sell at the absolute bottom just to stop the pain. This is usually where the middle class is wiped out. Phase 5. The slow grind. The recovery creates a lost decade. In 1929, it took 25 years for the market to recover. In 2026, because of the debt, we might not see new highs until the 2030s. Now, let's talk about the fallout. Who actually pays for this? History is cruel. The bill is almost always paid by the middle class and the retirees. In 2008, families saw their home equity vanish. In 1929, people who felt wealthy were destitute in 3 years. In 2026, the target is the retiree with a standard 401k. A 60% drop means you don't retire, means you work until you die. But while the masses panic, a small group of people will be popping champagne. In the depths of the Great Depression, Joseph Kennedy made a fortune by shorting stocks and then buying assets for pennies on the dollar. In 2008, while people were losing their homes, investors like Warren Buffett were buying companies like Goldman Sachs at crisis prices. This is the uncomfortable truth. Crashes do not destroy wealth. They transfer it. They transfer it from the weak hands, those who are leveraged and fearful, to the strong hands, those who hold cash and patience. You might be thinking, won't the government just save us again? Won't they print their way out of it? They will try. And that leads us to the failed fixes. In 2008, the U.S. debt was manageable. Today, at $36 trillion, the game has changed. When the crash hits, the politicians will panic. They will print trillions, but this time, the stimulus won't create growth. It will create stagflation. Imagine an economy where growth is crashing, but prices for food and gas are skyrocketing because the currency is being debased. It is the worst of both worlds. They will try to inflate away the debt, which means they are effectively taxing your savings account. The fix will be just as painful as the crash. So why am I telling you this? Because the timeline is compressing. In the past, these cycles took years to play out. Today, with high-frequency trading, AI algorithms, and 24-hour global news, the crash of 2026 could happen at the speed of light. You will not have months to react. You will have hours. The parallels are screaming at us. The belief in a permanently high plateau. We have that. The obsession with a new technology, AI, justifying insane valuations. We have that. The massive hidden leverage. We have that. The stage is set. The actors are in place. We're just waiting for the curtain to rise. I want to leave you with 3 concepts. These are your survival tools. Number 1. Cash is not trash. In a bubble, they tell you cash is a waste. In a crash, cash is king. Cash is not just money. It is a call option on the future. It gives you the power to buy when everyone else is forced to sell. Holding cash now isn't losing. It's waiting to strike. Number 2, ignore the false recovery. When the first drop happens, do not be a hero. Let the knife fall. The market will try to trick you. It always does. Wait for the capitulation. Wait for the despair. That is your signal. Number 3, the transfer is a choice. You can be the victim or you can be the architect. If you are leveraged, you are vulnerable. If you are liquid, you are powerful. The coming years will be hard for the world. They don't have to be hard for you. We are walking toward a moment of maximum danger. Most people will scroll past this video. They will choose the comfort of the lie over the discomfort of the truth. They will be the ones handing over their wealth in 2026. But you are still watching. That means you have a chance to be on the right side of the transfer. The signs are already flashing red. Commercial real estate defaults, regional bank wobbles, insider selling. I will be tracking these indicators in real time as the situation deteriorates. I'm preparing a deep dive on the specific assets that act as a shield during Phase 3. If you want to be part of the few who prepare rather than panic, make sure you are subscribed. The storm is coming. Position yourself accordingly.